That's a pretty interesting question, because if you think of AI, it's been around a lot longer than how we've been talking about it for the last few years. If you look at machine learning, which is an element of AI, if you look at algorithm trading, which has been around since the 80s, the technology has been using AI forever, really. If you think of how now AI is now at a price point where we can consume it, and we can actually work with large language models in a much better way, and able to train them. We've spent years, using the open source ones that are now trained, et cetera, and now we're actually able to create algorithms that can really leverage these things at a cost point where the return investment isn't many years, it's many months. We're seeing that change dramatically now. And it's even now we're thinking differently around AI, in a sense of, it used to be this thing that was so big and so out of control or out of our reach. Now it's something of, how do we apply it to everyday life, right? It's it was 6-7 years ago I did this talk on governance of AI at Lloyds Bank and in the UK, and we talked about the Terminator, right? Of AI is taken over the world, and it's got out of control because there's no governance around it. And it's interesting, you see AI, a lot of people were very afraid of it because the view is, well, it's going to take people's jobs, et cetera, rather than now, I think our views of it is much more mature, and technology is much more readily available at a cost point that's consumable, that we now actually thinking like, what, this is exciting. We can actually really take advantage of this and really advance everyday things that we think were unattainable, 6-7 years ago. So it's pretty exciting times. I think if you look at, you'd mentioned our headsets, I use them myself. They're pretty impressive in a sense of, you're in a loud environment and all of a sudden the noise canceling just kicks in. You don't have to touch a button, it just happens, right? And it really, those kind of things will help. That's something that no one really would have thought was an issue, because you just kind of got on with it, really. But now those little things are helping us, and now they're becoming expected. So it's pretty interesting. I think AI is different in a way, in a sense that it's going to create newer technology events, right? If we look at the internet was a technology event that happened in the 90s. I still remember my first job was a programmer at IBM, and my first role as a programmer there was working on their www.ibm.canada website, which was just like groundbreaking. And it was like, oh, if we can sell some things on it, that'd be cool. But if not, it's just more of an information space. You think of the internet now, it's the center of everything we do. Bespoke applications having their own GUI interface on your laptop or on your desktop is not a thing anymore. Using a web browser is how you run everything now, right? So if you think of it, that was a changing thing. And if you look at how many things have spun off of that, AI being a great element of that, I think this is something that's going to be the next advancement that's going to help spin off even more great ideas from a technology trend perspective. So is AI, is it just a trend? No, I don't think it is. I think it's a game changer. And I think it's going to change the game of how we operate with IT in the next 5 years, not 20 or 30 years like it took the internet. I think the next 5 years, we're going to see things completely change of how we actually do our daily jobs, how we look at data, how we consume data, how we utilize data to advance human progress. So the way that our approach to it is that, it's a big topic, right? And if one thing we've created is the Dell AI Factory, which is where we take in the different elements that helps people and customers understand structure and utilize services and infrastructure to get the outcomes they're after, right? The key thing is technically everyone thinks that because it's technology, they're going to be looking to IT to really drive what is the AI use case. It's the business level, the business groups that are driving the AI use case. And so we get the outcome first, and then we start where we come in, the data, right? We are holders of data. We've got petabytes and petabytes of data held on our technology. How can we help customers structure that data so they can then leverage it to create the outcome, right? So how do we work? How do we bring, what value do we bring to customers? We help them simplify it. We guide them in the right way to consume the different technologies correctly in an open source fashion, and make sure that they're taking advantage of all the different great things out there from an ecosystem perspective to give them the outcome thereafter. So simplification is the key to what we're bringing to our customers. Mm-hmm. Well, that's something that's close to my heart, considering I run our clients solutions group for EMEA. So from an AI PC, if you think of the day-to-day activities that people are doing, some of it's very administrative heavy. It's it's not very thought-provoking. It's very mind-numbing. Those things can be automated quite quickly. Your AI PC can really consume and take data and summarize things for you in a much quicker fashion, so you can get to value and decision points faster. I think those things, you need a human to still make that decision, but you now are going to have the ability to get better insights and data to you quicker that actually allows you to help make that decision quicker. And then if you think of, AI is only as good as the data that's given, because it's constantly learning. The large language models are learning, et cetera, et cetera. How does that data get to you need someone to input it on their laptop first, right? So the laptop's never going away in the sense of the input element of it, but the outputs is really what the strength of, Copilot PCs in particular from Microsoft, they bring a really strong play there and help our everyday mundane activities become just jobs that happen quickly, and yet the insights we're getting are stronger and richer. I think it already is, really. If you look in, the PC is how you interact with it, but AI is going to become absolutely the center of all workplaces, right? So the AI PC will eventually be there as well, because again, AI is only good as the inputs and the outputs. You need something to be able to look at in order to get that. So it absolutely will be. And it's, if you think of how companies start, they're finding those use cases that help them advance, the people's input and how we're interacting with those will be key to those companies advancing even further. So 100% it's going to be the center of everything. Mm-hmm. For digital assistants, well, digital assistants is an outcome, right? It's a use case. It's whatever it is you're looking for. So our systems enable that algorithm you've created to leverage the data, right? That's what we bring to the table. We create, we create the infrastructure that allows an idea or a software or an algorithm to leverage the data, right? Are we the creators of the algorithms? We're absolutely not. Right? Can we help people and guide them in the right way to work with the right people to create those algorithms? Absolutely, we can. But the digital assistant is one element of an algorithm, and it's really, is that important to you? Is the digital assistant important to your business? If it is, great. We can absolutely help you with that. We can help you structure your data so that assistant is able to give that data in a quicker, more succinct fashion, learn from the questions that's being answered, and we can be able to give faster outcomes. We can absolutely help with that. But if you think of it, there's one use case that I've looked at before is that, my background is financial services from an IT perspective. A lot of wealth management companies, they respond to big bank RFPs. These are 1,000 pages of RFP, right? And to read that 1,000 pages and understand the sentiment of the RFP is very difficult. By using Gen AI to scan that document for you, you can pick out the sweet spots of where you're trying to, what they're actually really after, and you can then respond in that way. So that's something that's maybe utilized only a few times a year, but the financial and company benefit from that is massive. But then to the digital assistant you talked about, that's a daily customer touching experience. That's, again, the outputs that you can glean from that data really provides power to them. It gives them specifically the answers they want, and which creates a good customer sat.